Hi y'all, it's Raptor again. This is a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. So this time, it's Spy again on Lakeside. And yeah, it is 3 King of the Hill maps in a row. I promise I'll do a different game type and I won't do Spy. I mean, I really like playing Spy, but yeah, it can get a little old after a while. So, Lakeside is a really nice... It's probably one of my personal favorites out of all the King of the Hill maps. It's just really well designed. There's lots of health packs and ammo boxes for spies. And it has a little pool of water in that little enclosure to the left of the point. Left according to where I am right now. I just looked at it, like in that room. So that can be cool, because then you can delight yourself and swim around and lie in wait. It's just fun. So I'll see if I can give any more, maybe little spy tidbits. I'm not the best spy, but I do have some knowledge I picked up over time that I do think is useful. And I guess the first thing would be a mistake I just made right there was getting in a prolonged encounter with enemies. You do not want to do that. If you're fighting somebody, you know, like undisguised with your gun, your revolver, don't let it drag. Because once it starts to drag, you're probably going to get killed because you don't have a lot of health. So the idea is, if it's starting to take a while, just get out of there. Wait for another chance. You're a spy. You have almost infinite chances. This was a bit of a shameful fumble of the stab right there. I probably should have just stabbed that heavy where he stood. But I make up for it later. Yeah, he gets his just due. So... yeah, too bad this wasn't a pie eating contest. Getting back to what I was saying. Spy wisdom, you get it over time. And here's one thing I don't really hear a lot of people saying, and I do think this holds true just about 99% of the time. And that's disguises. You shouldn't use them as a crutch, because they only really have one purpose. And that's to fool your enemy at a distance into thinking that you're not an enemy. And the idea is that an enemy that is far away from you, say maybe 30 or so feet, if you can kind of get a game sense of how far away that is. 30 or so feet, unless it's a soldier, they might do it anyway. They're probably not going to second guess your disguise. They'll just leave you be, because there's no real way of close-up encounter, you know, checking that if you're a spy or not. So that's what you should use disguises for, is when it's like that, that's when you should try to use them into fooling your enemy into thinking that you're an ally. But when you're up close to somebody, there's some weird lag right here. I don't really know what's going on. Alright, so I got that fixed up. It clears up later. It was just my PC, I think. Sorry if this is going to be a little off. It's that I had to pause both the commentary and the video, and sometimes there's a bit of a delay. So, getting back to what I was saying about disguises. If you're up close to somebody, they're probably going to spy check you. So the idea is that when you're close to enemies, you want to remain undetected as long as you possibly can. Stay behind them, to the sides of them. If somebody's about to run in front of you, wait for them to pass or try to stab them while they go by. It's just you do not want to be in front of people and up close, because that's the spy check zone. Like what I just did, I just ran in front of a pyro. What does he do? He chases me down. Now obviously pyros are going to chase you down really no matter what happens. You know, if you're up close to them, they're probably going to try and flare you, so it's just, you want to keep your distance from pyros unless you absolutely know that you can get up close to them and kill them. And here's another less prolonged engagement. If that fight with the medic had gone on much longer, I probably would have ran away. And what I'm doing right now was probably just, I'm a hypocrite right now for doing this, for being in a bit of a prolonged engagement with a pyro. You shouldn't do that, especially now with a pyro, because they can wreck you. All they have to do is charge you. For whatever reason, that pyro didn't just run at me, which for once will work since I'm a spy. So, getting back on the gameplay, Sapta Dispenser, going on to the there's 2 mirrored across the map, but the conveniently located health pack. I sort of fail-stabbed the demo man, then I finally get him. Then shame on you. Shame on you, Spy. The idea is that, and again, I'm not trying to gloat or anything, this is just true. A good spy will kill you without you even knowing he's there. But I knew that spy was there before he killed me, and it was a face stab, so shame on you, Spy. Shame on you. That brings me to my next point. Sorry for stuttering. My next point is that as Spy, the idea is not to fool the enemy into thinking you're friendly. That's not the idea. The idea is to remain undetected altogether. You want to not be seen at all. If you can not be seen at all, there's no chance of them spy checking you, and you're invincible, basically. So what you must do is stay out of enemies' view as long as you possibly can until you spawn an opportunity to kill off any enemies that can see you by stabbing them. And that's just how it works. Because you don't have enough health or firepower to last a while in engagements that take that long. And here's engineers, a quick engineer tip. If your stuff is sapped and you know the spy is nearby, don't go and take the sapper off without knowing the spy is gone first. Because what he just did is he thought I must have left, but it's just classic sap and stab. What you do is you sap the equipment, then you wait for the engineer to come back, and then you stab him while he's unsapping. And yeah, any engineer players out there who are just fresh to the game, maybe free-to-play players, to which I have no problem with, trust me. If you're a free-to-play player and you want to play engineer, just be very wary of the sap and stab. Sap and stab. Sorry, that was dumb. So I switched loadout really fast. Now I've got Cloak and Dagger and Your Eternal Reward. This doesn't last very long. Usually I only try this when I think the other team's bad enough that I could actually pull this off. I usually can't. I end up switching back. I actually cut out a life when I was with this loadout because I didn't do anything. I cut out another life with my standard loadout where I didn't do anything too. It's just, I don't know. Not only am I just embarrassed of those, it's just they're boring to watch. I just run out of spawn and get killed. It's not... I mean, sometimes you think, well, that must be amusing. It's not. And so, I see this heavy, and at first I think he might be... excuse me. At first I think he might be a spy, because Your Eternal Reward, the knife I'm holding, what it does is when you backstab somebody, you disguise yourself as them. So if you stab a heavy, you disguise yourself as a heavy. So you may think, well, why would a spy be stupid enough to disguise himself as a heavy? Well, if he stabbed a heavy with this knife. So that's how that's why I had that suspicion. So I get actually a pretty nice chain going with this knife, but it ends really quickly with another hypocritical engagement that you should never do. And that's when you see teammates duking it out with other people, don't interfere. Especially if it means you're getting into a prolonged engagement with them. See what I'm doing right now? It ends up with me getting direct hitted, and that's never fun. So here's the cut where I cut out a couple of lives. And now I'm back to the standard Enforcer, Butterfly Knife, Dead Ringer. So you'll see that we've almost won the round. And usually this is where there's a miracle push by the other team to recapture the point. And I'm pretty sure there actually is. If it's not this round, it's the next round, because I'm showing you a couple of rounds. So, yeah, we win this time. For the next round, there's like it gets kind of messy because they end up recapturing the point. So, fun humiliation kills. Yeah, they're always fun. And this server, I will say this of note, usually when the round ends and it's time for the other team to just kill off everybody, usually you can't respawn. Like 99.9% of the time. This server made it so you can respawn, so you can just keep getting killed and killed and killed, and it's just, it actually will count towards your server. Like, people can get points by doing that, and it actually will count towards your deaths in the scoreboard. And though, you know, this isn't a game where you really should be caring about that sort of thing, if you are, you should probably go back to Call of Duty. Still, it's kind of annoying to think that other people are just netting free points just because you can respawn. So, another free backstab kill off of an aloof heavy. And that time, the spy with your eternal reward actually killed me in a good spy-like way. I had no idea he was there. So that, props to you for that one. So he is using your eternal reward, so you'll see the effects of it. There's no scream after you die. Your body just disappears, and you disguise as your victim. So it makes finding the spy very easy because I just find a copy of myself and kill him. That's probably the only downside to it, is then you'll have one very angry enemy player coming after you, and of course he'll know exactly who you are. So you'll have to say spy disguised as me, you know, blah blah blah. And this time, yeah, this is not good. This is why you should avoid engagements altogether sometimes, because look at what just happened. I thought I just had this spy, but instead a pyro joined in, and then an engineer. So it's just, when you engage somebody out in the open, it multiplies, and it turns into a big cluster, you know what I'm going to say, just right off the bat. Usually there will be another enemy player that joins in, because spies tend to be in the back of the maps, deep in enemy territory. So it's usually dense with enemies. So chances are, if you just start hacking at somebody else is going to notice. And there's a stab and sap. That's another spy technique. And if the engineer's standing directly behind his sentry while he's upgrading it, like he usually will, you can just stab the engineer, then immediately sap his gear. And this works with just about every tier of sentry. And here's a good spy tip. If you're working with a level 3 sentry though, stab the engineer, and say the sentry's pointing to your right, immediately run to the left after you stab him, because then it'll start turning towards you, and if you run to the left, you're running in the opposite direction. It's turning so you won't get killed. And that's important if you don't want to get killed the second after you kill the engineer. So definitely be very careful when you're doing this with high tier sentries. With level 2s, you can still get away with it even if you get shot, but with level 3s, once the rocket hits you, you're dead. And here's another spy death that was pretty good. I didn't know he was there. He came up behind me pretty silently. I do manage to kill him back several times, because if there's one thing that you always have to do as spy, it's you should always try to be the dominant spy. You should never spy... Wow. Epic stutter. You should never try to be the dominant spy if you are a spy. Like, don't hunt down the other spies actively, because that's a pyro's job. But if you do notice other spies running around, do go, like what I just did, do try to kill them. Because spies are very bothersome for your team. They can be distracting for capturing the objective. And that's what I think I try to do. I do it fairly well. I mean, I'm at least, you know, distracting some of them long enough that we can get through it without a hitch. But don't spy hunt as a spy. Just take care of them when you can. Like that. Like if you do see a spy, they don't have a lot of health, you have a pretty strong gun, you can take care of them pretty fast. Especially if you're using the Enforcer, because the Enforcer takes 125 HP classes down in 2 shots sometimes. And here this wasn't fun. I did think I managed to get away from him for a second there, but then here it comes. Oh, this wasn't it. There is a time when I do run into that room and die. That time he just ran forward and I actually got to kill him, it's always fun when you can manage to do that with the dead ringer. And there goes another fail stab. The spy held the knife in a backstab position, but then when I went to stab, my mind is so cluttered right now. I apologize. When I went to stab the medic, I'll talk a little bit slower. When I went to stab the medic, it just did a normal stab. That wasn't very fun. And so, I was kind of a tard here by just sapping the dispenser right off the bat with the engineer right there. The guy, you always want to have a plan when you're about to sap things. If you're going to sap things and you know the engineer's right there, like you can poke him from where you're standing, don't do it. It's a bad idea. You want to always have an idea of how you can maneuver around the engineer so that way you can get a kill right after you stab him. And that was another annoying I don't know what it was. Was it a face stab? Was it one of those, you know, quote, side stabs that really are face stabs, but people say, you know, oh no, that was legitimate backstab. Anyway, see the sappers on the teleporters. Go on a little bit of a spy hunt. I couldn't find anybody though. And then, so I noticed that demo man, and you may think, well, what if he was a spy? Well, he swung his Islander, so that's proof enough he wasn't a spy. You have to remember, spies can't switch their weapons very fluently, nor can they really they can't swing their weapons at all. And here's the part where I talked about, just like, yeah, that usually happens with a spy. With a spy with a pyro. With a pyro when you are a spy. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this. It's pretty early in the morning. I just woke up. Decided, you know, hey, I should probably commentate this video. So, we win again. It's not quite the end of the video, though. There's still a couple more minutes of footage, because I was playing with a friend, and when he left, I decided to call it quits. He didn't leave just yet, so I didn't leave yet. So there's there's a few more minutes, not really anything substantial. It's not a whole round or anything. So, getting back to it, same loadout, same everything. And there's another topic I was thinking of, and that's intros. So you'll see a lot of established commentators, movie makers, all that sort of thing have intros. And I'm thinking, is there really a purpose to an intro? I mean, we know who's making a video if we go to watch it, because we can see it right in front of us, you know, by so-and-so. So do we really need an intro? I guess if they're really cool, they have a lot of, you know, sweet visual effects, I guess that's excusable. But if we already know who it is, do we really need these prolonged, like, frag movies at the beginning or anything? I mean, I'd say maybe, like, one little cool visual effect intro. You know, like, I know, to give an example, one intro that I really find myself not minding at all is Shibby 2142's intro, because it's just this thing, it's just this little thing of a soldier jumping and, you know, the Rocket Man they talk about, and that's it. It's just like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. And that's about it. But, like, these prolonged intros with frag movies and music and multiple songs, and that's going overboard. Like, if it's 30 seconds long, I'm going to find myself skipping it quite a bit, because I don't need to watch that much before I watch a video. But if it's only, like, maybe 15 seconds long, I can handle that. Like, 15 seconds tops, usually. It's not that I have a short attention span or that I'm trying to diss all these people who put all this hard work into making the intros. It's just, I don't really need to watch that much of a pre-video, if you know what I mean.
What are you doing? You're killing a spy.
Yeah, obviously I don't need an intro yet. I do have an idea for an intro I'd kind of like. But, you know, I don't think there's anybody watching the video who has, you know, the prowess of making visual effects that could make an intro. It doesn't even require that much of a visual sort of ability, but I definitely think I would need somebody really good, because I could never do it myself. So, and another spy tip, don't do what I just did. What I just did is I pretended to be on their team, and like I said, that's not a good idea. You never want to act. Acting is not a good idea. If you think that you can act your way around the enemy side of the field and get away with it, you're just wrong. It's not going to work. And just don't do it. And with that, the gameplay is coming to a close. Big thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Superman Death by Spy. I'll see everybody later, and thanks for watching.